watching Crypto Market News, and I'm here with one of the speakers, Stefan Junestrand. So, hi.
Nice to be here. Fantastic.
You're a member of Blockchain Observatory and Forum, as I know, and it has been operating for about 9 months already.
Yeah.
So, what would you say are the main achievements, and what was the goal of the project?
The goal is an ongoing project. It's a project that is run by consensus, but in the area where I participate, which is about use cases, we're about, I think, 30 members throughout Europe from different disciplines and different areas and different countries, a mix. The goal is to generate information, to manage the information which is around, and try to understand and clarify different aspects about, for example, there's a report coming right now about governance. So to understand the issues, what are possibilities, projects going on, and so identify the area and try to bring out understanding to the European Union.
And what are the main achievements so far?
I think there's been several reports that actually the way the information is delivered is through reports, but also there's a website with information, there is a channel where you can find ongoing blockchain projects in Europe and so on, so it's like a multi-channel initiative.
Blockchain demands use of a lot of new technologies such as tokens, smart contracts, digital wallets. So, is the public administration prepared for blockchain?
Well, in general, the public administration is concerning knowledge about blockchain is not prepared at all, because there's very low level of knowledge of blockchain within the public administration. So that's one problem. And on the other hand, I think the projects that currently run on blockchain and are building up on blockchain, except for some very high quality projects like Estonia and Dubai and other key cities, the knowledge is very low. So they're isolated small projects starting up within one area. Maybe it's voting, and maybe it's another is publicity, and other is public health and so on. So, but the problem today is that a full-scale blockchain project for providing public services, as any project, another project, includes like of course the public data, the private data, but also areas like the digital wallet, digital ID, and so on. So many cities start with pilot projects, for example, which include all these. But if you a voting project, for example, but that's really complicated because it doesn't only depend upon you. It depends on a digital ID, for example. My recommendation in general, for smart cities, to start with projects, that are don't include the digital ID, for example. That can depend only upon the initiative that we want to do. For example, we have the public accounting on blockchain. That's only putting out data and providing transparency to the data. So that's a high value for citizens. It's an easy project to implement, or to provide, for example, air quality data or water quality data, or the data of other things that we measure with Internet of Things. That's easy to provide. It's a high value for the user, and we don't depend on another part of the public administration to run our project.
What's your definition of smart city?
Well, cities around the world have used technology during 20, 30 years to improve processes, improve the management of the city. But what has happened is that this technology has been developed within the silos of mobility, health, public services, governance, education, etc. So we have a very highly digitalized information within those silos, but the problem is that they don't share very much information. So and the information they share, it's getting delayed and so on. With a smart city, you unite all these silos with a platform, smart city platform, which is able to communicate in real time between these different areas, and in that way transmit information, collect information, use with big data, artificial intelligence and so on, and provide not only better services but also new services that were not able or possible to provide without the smart city platforms. What are happening now is that we need blockchain to solve problems that current situations and solutions can't solve, like for example transparency. Although we have smart cities, there's still a lot of corruption around the world. There's very little transparency in much of the open data that should be open, but we can't find it. So blockchain is a specifically good technology to provide transparency to the city, and which will help us to fight corruption and other problems within the city. So it's an added value to the smart city.
Mm-hmm. And how does smart city correlate with the Internet of Things?
Well, a smart city measures a lot of data. We have internal data for processes and activities and so on, but there's also a lot of external data that we have to collect, like air quality, we have to collect water quality, the movement of vehicles, a lot of things around the world, around the city that we want to collect data from. And Internet of Things is a fantastic way to collect that data because it's automatic and transparent. And then what happened with that Internet of Data today is that it generally gets stored with a lot of data, but we do very little things with those data, and they're not transparent either. But if we combine Internet of Things with the blockchain, which is transparent, we can show this data in a public way. Like we can show all the air quality measurements, all the movements of the vehicles, public transportation. We can even, if we have internet on some animals we protect in the city, on our trees, etc. So we can make this information public, and private initiatives can be built upon those ones, and also private users, the citizens, can get information about this data which they will need.
And what are the most promising business opportunities for smart cities?
Well, I think there are a lot of business opportunities within the public administration to help the public administration, but that's normally rather slow project. It's public budget, it's like public decisions and so on. But what really is a good opportunity today, I believe, is to provide services that are provided today from private companies in public-private collaborations, or just that we understand our projects within the smart city, and provide them, look at projects and find projects or services that gains from using blockchain. Not the only gain. It should not be, oh, it's on blockchain, therefore that's the reason why it's better. No, because it adds transparency, it adds cybersecurity or other values for the users. But I think there are a lot of services, including mobility, security, public health, you name it, depends on what city and where and what is your competence.
So which cities in the world would you truly call smart nowadays?
I think there's no general description say that this is the smartest city. There's a lot of ranking. This is the smartest, second smartest, third smartest, and so on. But I really think, in general, the highest ranked cities, if you want to measure, those are actually the capitals of the countries, like New York, London, Amsterdam, and Dubai, and so on. Those cities have the public administration around, they have very well developed infrastructure, security and so on. So those are easy environments to make smart. And all the investments today, they are pushing towards the smart cities. So those are of course really smart cities. And then there are other cities that might be more sustainable. They have maybe more focus on mobility and saving energy and so on. So I really think you can always compare, because I'm interested in comparing, but it's really difficult to compare a small city in Spain like Sevilla with New York, okay, or Malaga, which is a very smart Spanish city, with Paris. It's difficult to compare because the context is different, the infrastructure is different, what they need is different. So, but of course, there's hundreds or thousands of really smart cities around the world.
Thank you so much for your time, Stefan. It's been a pleasure.
The pleasure has been mine. Thank you very much.
Thanks.